Broadcasting live from Brooklyn, New York, Solutions Review is on location at MobileIron Live 2019. Brought to you by MobileIron.
We are here at MobileIron Live 2019 in Brooklyn, New York. It's a beautiful sunny day, a little warm, and we are joined by Andy Brady, who is the Vice President of Enterprise Sales at Verizon. And I'm glad you stopped by because you guys have just come out with an interesting report around some of the threats that folks are faced, and I like to start that way because I really want to set the table with regard to the discussion around where Verizon's headed and what folks are faced with.
For sure. Thanks for having me, first of all.
You bet.
We've just launched today our 12th annual data breach investigation report, where we go deep into just different data concerns that are out there in the marketplace in every vertical and every stance, both wireline and wireless. This report, as I mentioned, 12 years in the running, really is a telltale book of really where we see the concerns in the marketplace in every single vertical, whether that be in the government space, healthcare, transportation, retail, you name it. And I must say it's a report that we're very, very proud of because at the standpoint of it is widely renowned as one of those reports that people will actually go out to and take actionable results and actionable things to go out and make changes in their overall business position when it comes to security.
Well, and I think, it is important because you touch so many sectors and you're so huge. I mean, that when you do a report, you're really getting, the machine truth, if you will, of what's actually happening out there.
Yeah, it's we touch a lot of aspects of technology around the United States and the world. It's when we founded ourselves 25 years ago, and we came together as an amalgamation of wireless companies. But along those lines, we've then grown into a technology company that not only has the wireless component, but certainly from a wireline perspective with our acquisition of MCI back in 2006, 70% of the world's Unet internet traffic runs through our pipes across 6 different continents. And so the ability to understand what's going on from a data and technology standpoint is one thing, but also all of the folks that are using that technology in ways that they probably shouldn't be. Those bad actors, if you will, or enemies of the state, we kind of see a lot of that stuff. And it's important that, I kind of equate it almost to a pharmacist, where a pharmacist will tell you what you should and shouldn't do with the medicine that they're giving you. We need to make sure that we're taking care of our customers and helping them understand where you've got risk and where you've got concern, because we see it.
Well, to extend that medical analogy a little further, this morning it was like a team of doctors telling you that basically bad things were going to be happening to you from now until the end of time if you didn't start to behave differently.
Yeah.
And it's really a stark message with regard to the vulnerabilities, the threats, and the fears that the enterprise is faced with. How is Verizon coming at that in terms of not only working with your customers, but working with partners like MobileIron?
Yeah, the first part is you've got to educate. And any part of a learning process is you've got to want to be educated. And our job is to go out there and manage the portfolio of businesses around the world and educate them on some of the concerns, hence the data breach report, the mobile security index report. That's a pretty important pieces of the education process. But then you got to use that education and help people make actionable results. And so it's one thing to say, okay, well, here's where your problem is, but there's quite another thing to say, okay, well, here's how you fix it. And MobileIron, along with a lot of other partners that we use in this space, really help kind of propel that fix piece. You never can be ahead of it. As soon as you feel comfortable, there's that next bad actor that finds another way around the system. But our job is to help make sure that we're not only helping from the standpoint of here are the things that you should be thinking about, but here are the things that we're continuing to see. And then here's the managed services platform that we can help kind of eradicate and adjudicate some of the problems that we see out there. To my point earlier, as much as you get to that comfort level, there's always another person that's out there that's going to take that next step towards trying to take your information, and information is king. And the information for our customers is very, very important. We take it incredibly serious, and that's why we spent so much time working with our partners at MobileIron, but also the 100+ security professionals that we have on staff to help our customers really take care of these issues before they become major issues.
Well, and so education is certainly a good piece of advice to offer up. What other things are you kind of providing as guidance with regard to being prepared for the inevitable bad actor that comes knocking on the back door?
Yeah, one thing we're really proud of, we've just started our Verizon risk report, where essentially what we'll do is we'll take a look at your company, your individual company. So it's good to say here's the macro view of the challenges that are out there in the marketplace. But if you came to me and your XYZ company and you say, okay, I've got some concerns, or we come to you and say you should think about these concerns, we have a very detailed view of your company. We can take a very detailed view of your company from kind of 3 different levels. One, that outside in view. So all of the different aspects of your corporate DNA out in the marketplace, we can go and say, okay, you've got some risk here, you've got some risk there. That's level 1. Level 2 would be we go behind your firewall and we say, okay, well, you put all these different pieces in motion, but here's some things inside out that you probably should think about. And then the last one is a managed services retainer type of business where you've done level 1, you've done level 2, then you have some kind of situation that happens. We are there to help you fix that on a moment's notice on that Verizon risk report. So if you haven't heard of it, it's certainly something that we should talk about with every individual company that's out there, because it makes a material difference to you in your fight against the bad actors, as we say.
Well, and it's interesting. Ironically, I think the story is to actually try to simplify rather than just layering in more point solutions and trying to create this complex barricade of solutions.
Simplification is one thing. I mean, certainly we want to simplify it and make it as easy as we possibly can, but we're not talking about simpleton people who are attacking these businesses. You know,
no, you're right about that.
It's always the one step ahead kind of thing that we're thinking about. And as much as we can put you in not in harm's way, we want to do that. But you know, if you take a simpleton approach, you can look at 4 of the top 6 factors on the mobile security risk assessment, all are around software, right? And so from a software perspective, you got to really understand what exactly you're doing. And it's very easy to just take your mobile device and say, oh, hit the link, download it.
Right.
The number 1 is phishing. And phishing is the biggest concern that's out there, and has increased about 85% year over year.
Because it's so successful.
Right. And the crazy thing, and you and I were talking off air before we started, you access your mobile device 150 times a day.
It's incredible.
And when you do that, the security protocols you have on your mobile device aren't necessarily as robust as the years it's taken you to get to where you're at from a integrated network standpoint. So your computers at your office, for the most part, you've got them as secure as you can. Sometimes you'll have some things slip through. But the increase in phishing attacks are not coming from your computer. For a lot of things, like just the simple E on the emails, the external emails that are coming in, you don't see that on a mobile device. So phishing attacks happen about 4% of the time on a network-based computer. 56% of the time they're coming from mobile devices. And that's where really you got to be, back to the education piece you and I were talking about, that's one thing we really got to make sure we educate all of our customers on, to help them understand this is a simple thing. Don't just look at the link and click it.
Well, and so you have these multiple evolutions now coming together to create this kind of perfect storm. Obviously, the sophistication of the attackers, plus the ubiquity of the mobile device, and now all of the other things that are on the edge of a network are creating even more areas for vulnerability. And then you also have this kind of need to manage all the massive amounts of data, and sometimes I think that is an overwhelming task in the amount of data that's flowing. But then I notice on your pin there, the latest complication and opportunity is 5G, which is going to just increase the amount of speed and connectivity to be able to do some really amazing things. I mean, it's an incredible opportunity, but it comes with its own set of challenges.
Again, it's the same kind of challenges happen in a 3G, 4G, and 5G world. But to your point, it becomes that much more pervasive the easier the technology becomes and the more powerful the technology becomes. So the same challenges you have in your typical LTE 4G environment today, you're going to have then, but they're in 5G, but it is inherently more secure. We're building it more secure through the 3GPP properties that we're building our network on. But you're exactly right from the standpoint of the use of and the pervasiveness of technology just inherently comes with more challenges that you've got to be cognizant of. Again, education is one thing, tools to take actionable results is another, and then helping us to help you, our customers, attack these before they become a problem is key. The adage of, oh, well, yeah, it works, I don't want to fix it. I sometimes laugh too when your business model, I'm sure across the board, when you're successful, you don't want to really mess up the apple cart. But if you're not proactive, it's same back to your health environment. If you got that cough that lingers, you might want to go to a doctor. And in this case, we've got to make sure we're helping just avoid that. It's good. I don't want to deal with it kind of thing. We'll help with that. Our 5G, though, our CEO calls it the fourth industrial revolution, and I truly believe that. You think about how the world changed when steam engines came around, and then you think about how the world changed when power came around. Just go without power for an hour, and you realize what an important part of your life is. And then the computer came around, and then that changed our world even that much more. But now when you have this fiber in the sky, which is what we're building, it changes the dynamics of how we communicate. It changes the dynamics of how we work, how we drive, how we live. I mean, it's truly, it's going to change the world as we know it. And it's so exciting to be a part of a company that is ahead of the curve. We were first in the world to bring 5G
well,
out.
And it harkens back to the 60s in an arms race. It really is like the getting to 5G, being able to get a handle on it. And then when you combine that with the advancements on the mobile device and the ability that it's going to enable, I mean, we were talking about having teenage kids and the way their behavior has changed through mobile devices, which we've both seen. That's only going to get more exponentially altered.
Yeah. It won't change the over-the-top Friends episodes that our daughters watch on online. But certainly when you think about the devices, the connectivity of the devices, that will certainly be enhanced. Video is a video, but the way you do it from a power standpoint, throughput standpoint, I should say, is important. But the Internet of Things is really the game changer. So when you take our typical LTE environment today, well, we can get about 100,000 users in a square kilometer on LTE. With 5G, we have the ability to do about 1 million in that same spot. And so when you think about that, you think about your connected devices at your home as an example. I know I have 53, I think the last count I had.
Connected to the network?
Connected to the network. And if you don't have to be wired, it changes the dynamics. But it also changes the dynamics of the companies that sold me the stuff that's in my home. Whether it's a connected refrigerator, or whether it's a connected television, or it's the alarm company that's on there, or a couple of the other things I've got in my house. It changes the trajectory of what we can connect, how we want to connect it, and how we want to live with that connected world. It's such a great time to be in the
lucky you
technology.
to be getting to go through it, because it really is going to be fascinating. I can't wait, and I'm amazed every time I come here. I think, I've got a handle on it, and then I listen to folks like you, and I think, no, I really actually don't know anything. So thanks for swinging by and bringing me up to speed.
you know a lot, but it's what's so great about this technology is that our customers right now are really starting to ideate on what do they think they're going to use it for. And so we have certainly our ideas of how we want to use the technology, but I implore everyone to think big and think broad. Think about how you want to change the dynamics of how you work, live, and play. and then talk to us. And because I'd really love to have that conversation, because it's so awesome to be in this creativity space where you're not really bound by anything but your imagination. And that we talk about the art of the possible, and the art of the possible within 5G is only it's limited by your imagination, really.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and that's what's so fascinating. I think it's not only the speed, it's the interconnectivity that's going to happen, like with Internet of Things and all the devices.
The common misnomer, it's all about speed, and speed is important.
Right.
But latency is also incredibly important.
Right.
So when you want to do things real time, latency is a key ingredient. So near real time or sub 10 millisecond latency is one where you can have real time AI and VR and all those kind of those pervasive, what will be pervasive types of technology. But also the autonomous world is incredible because of the fact that you need real time decision making. And then the other thing is making decisions on the edge. So when you make a decision and you can have that compute power on the edge of the network, as opposed to traversing the cloud and coming all the way back,
right?
It gives you that really a true sense of what you can do to take technology and make it real time. And I mentioned fiber in the sky. It's essentially what we're building right now. So it's a really interesting time to be a human being on this planet, and specifically if you're a Verizon customer, or even if you're not. I mean, there's always opportunities for you to come over and have a conversation with us.
Well done. Thanks for bringing us up to speed, Andy Brady, and we will be back with more guests here at MobileIron Live.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Good job.
Outstanding, man.